Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, and entertainment, when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. We definitely want you guys to stick around for it, so please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, it was a pretty big night yesterday in the NBA, at least for Clipper fans and people that give a damn about the Clippers and what's happening with them. But it was a pretty big night in the NBA. Why? Because we finally got a chance to see Russell Westbrook make his Clippers debut, right, against the Sacramento Kings. Now, going into that game, there was a lot of conversation surrounding Russell Westbrook, and something that we covered extensively, right? A lot of people had different things to say. Skip Bayless thinks it's going to be a total disaster. I don't know what Shannon Sharp thinks. Chris Broussard is kind of on the fence, and he's waiting to see how the Clippers utilize him. He thinks that the Clippers may be successful if Russell Westbrook is coming off the bench. People like Nick Wright think that it may be a disaster either way, whether he comes off the bench or not. Brian Windhorst, he's made his positions clear. Stephen A. Smith seems to have an optimistic outlook on Russell Westbrook going into, you know, the remaining of the season with the Clippers as they try to get to the NBA Finals. And other people have given their takes on it. But finally, yesterday, the rubber finally had a chance to hit the road. So what happened? The Clippers played in a game that ended up being the second highest scoring NBA game in NBA history. In NBA history. Now, some people will love that. For me, I don't really like that because I like games where it's exciting to watch, but I also like to see defense being played. It's probably one of the reasons why I gravitate towards two-way players like Giannis, like Jordan, like Kobe, like Kawhi. I like guys that play on both sides of the floor. I like guys that can put on a fantastic show on the offensive side of the floor and that actually have a beautiful game to watch. Speaking of a beautiful game, did y'all see those shots that Kawhi Leonard was hitting? Did you see those shots he was hitting yesterday? Oh my God. Did you see the footwork? It was a clinic on how to shoot the mid. I mean, Kawhi Leonard's game is a beautiful thing to watch when he's in his bag, man. His footwork, his post move, his turnaround, fadeaway jump. I mean, it was personally. I think Kawhi Leonard has one of the most beautiful games in the NBA when he's playing well. So does Kevin Durant. So does Kyrie Irving. Obviously, Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, and others. But his game, oh my God, it was incredible to watch. But anyway, back to the game. It was an incredibly high-scoring affair. The Clippers ended up losing that game 176 to 175. I mean, it was just ridiculous, right? Absolutely ridiculous. Even Kawhi Leonard at the end of the game said it was just absolutely ridiculous. Now, if you look at Kawhi's numbers in that game, again, I mean, come on. Like, what do we talk? Like, so that's why I want. Listen, here's how I view people commenting on Kawhi. Oh, he's not that dude. Whatever. He's not this. He's not that. I know the thing that is actually taking place is simply this: out of sight, out of mind. So I'm not going to argue with people saying, oh, Kawhi Leonard is washed. He's not really a good player no more. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to respond to it. You know why? Because this is a what have you done for me lately league. That's how fans are, right? When Stephen Curry won the championship last year, people were jumping out the window, right? If Kawhi Leonard goes to the playoffs, plays very well, wins the championship, everybody going to jump right back on the Kawhi Leonard. But that's just how it works. So I'm not really here to argue with cats. All I got to say is, in 46 minutes, Kawhi Leonard scored 44 points. He shot 72.7% from the field as a perimeter player. He shot 66% from the three. Not like going 2 of 3. He went 6 of 9. Okay. 100% from the free throw line. Got you with 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and only 2 turnovers. Now let's head over to Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook made his Clipper debut in the starting lineup, and he finished the game with 17 points on 53.8% shooting from the field. To me, that's fantastic. Looked like he was picking his spots, and if you watch the game, he was. He wasn't really trying to force anything. It looked like he was taking what the defense gave him, but when moments came in the offense to get opportunistic, he took his shot. He made a quick move. He was decisive. It's incredible to see that for a 34-year-old, he still has that level of athleticism. Within his body is actually quite incredible. If you look at his age. He shot 25% from the three, but he didn't attempt a high volume to really become a detriment to the team. He only attempted 4, made 1. He shot 100% from the free throw line, only attempted 2, so we're not really going to hype that up a little too much. But he did finish the game with 5 rebounds. He actually out-rebounded Kawhi Leonard. But what I love the most about what Russell Westbrook gave them, apart from, what he gave them on the floor in terms of his ability to push the pace, put pressure on the defense, get guys a lot of easy shots, especially in transition if you watch the game, was the fact that Russell Westbrook had 14 assists, 14 dimes. Now, he did have 7 turnovers, which led the team in turnovers, although overall the Clippers finished the game with 25 turnovers, which is a lot. But he wasn't the only one. Even Norman Powell came off the bench. He had 4 turnovers, which was a lot. 7 turnovers is a lot, but 14 assists is good. Now, I know a lot of people are going to point to his turnovers and say, well, hey, that's terrible. And listen, I'm not here to defend the turnovers. They're bad. However, there's one thing I will say that's worth considering in terms of the 7 turnovers that he had. Here's a few things. Number one, you have a new player you're integrating into a new system as a point guard. Okay, number one. So the likelihood of him turning the ball over is actually going to be much greater because he's the one controlling the ball for the majority of the time as a point guard. It's his job to set the table and make sure everyone is in their right spot to be successful. That's the first thing. The second thing is simply this. He's only had 2 practices with the Clippers. And I listened to some of the comments that Ty Lue made at the post game, which was simply, when they asked him, how do you think Russell Westbrook did? He said, I think he did a fantastic job in terms of learning some of the plays. And he said the most important thing was he had to learn some of the plays for Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And if you watch the game, you can see that Russell Westbrook was hitting Kawhi Leonard, especially Kawhi, in his shooting pocket, and he got him some really clean looks from the three-point line in various areas on the floor. So for a guy that's only had 2 practices, you're plugging him into a lineup with a team that he's never played with before, and for him to dish out 14 assists and have 7 turnovers, you can kind of live with that. Now, if that number continues to trend in that direction where you see games of 5 turnovers, 6 turnovers, then you have a problem, and I believe that Ty Lue has the wherewithal to be able to make necessary adjustments. As a matter of fact, listening to his post-game interview, they asked him about a player that they were starting prior to having Russell Westbrook sign with the team, which was Terrence Mann. And he said, maybe I should have given Terrence a little bit more minutes. But at the same time, Ty had to see what he had, right? If you have him, play him, see what he looks like in the lineup, right? Don't go into it, trepidatiously like, oh, well, I don't know, based on what. No, put him in the starting lineup, see what you have. And then after you gather that data, after maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 games, then you make a decision on what you think the best thing is to do. But if you go in already making conclusions, then that's a bad thing to do, in my personal view. So it was a bold move for Ty Lue to start him. I'm sure he was able to see a lot of things. I listened to some of the things that the other players had to say at the end of the game, Kawhi Leonard and others, and they thought that he played a great game, right, in terms of a guy that just got to the team and is trying to find his way through the system. And also, one thing to also take into consideration was the fact of all of the pressure that he had, because a lot of people were hoping for Russell Westbrook to fail, and he did very well for a debut. He didn't really stink up the joint. He didn't really, mess up what the Clippers were trying to do. The only thing you can really point to in terms of him not playing well is, number one, his turnovers and his lack of defense, which is something that he himself admitted at the end of the game. So for me, the thing that bothers me the most is that they got a loss. Was that the team lost, and no one was interested in playing defense. But overall, I think he had a pretty good debut. So these are my thoughts and opinions on that. Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comment section. We catch you on the next show.